entered the penthouse elevator, where Miss Heard's face was clearly visible. There were similarly no bruises, cuts, redness, or swelling visible on Miss Heard's face.
No injuries whatsoever to Miss Heard's face.
Miss Heard stood approximately 3 feet away from me during our conversation. I did not notice any bruises, cuts, swelling, red marks, or any other injuries of any kind to Miss Heard's face, or to Mr. Depp's finger. I suggested to Mr. Depp's head of security, Mr. Jerry Judge, that Ms. Heard be removed from the property and escorted back to Los Angeles. I volunteered to accompany Ms. Heard, with whom I had a good relationship, and Ms. Heard agreed to this. I did not notice any cuts, bruises, or injuries or redness of any kind to Ms. Heard at this time. I was with them very regularly throughout this period, and I never saw any cuts, bruises, or other injuries on Ms. Heard. Neither did Ms. Heard ever mention that she was the victim of any verbal or physical abuse other than as set out below at paragraphs 13 to 15 below. I never saw Mr. Depp commit any act of physical violence, whether against Ms. Heard or anyone else. I was able to observe Mr. Depp extensively up close during the meeting, and I did not perceive him to be physically impaired by alcohol or any other substance in any way. To the contrary, we discussed a number of significant financial and business matters at the meeting, and Mr. Depp gave them his full and undivided attention. He participated actively and intelligently in the meeting from beginning to end. It is alleged in paragraph 132 of Ms. Heard's first witness statement that Mr. Depp pushed Ms. Enrique out of the way so that he could reach Ms. Heard. This did not happen, and at no point did Mr. Depp push Ms. Enrique. I further understand that it is alleged in the same paragraph that Mr. Depp hit repeatedly with one hand whilst holding her hair with the other, and that Mr. Depp's security had to step in to separate them. Once again, this did not happen, and at no point did Mr. Depp hit Ms. Heard. In the many years I have worked for Johnny, I have never seen him use physical force on Amber in any way, nor have I seen any marks, bruises, or injuries on Amber that suggest she has suffered abuse by Johnny. On the occasions that I have witnessed Johnny or Amber argue, he assumes a passive tone and wants to leave her presence.
I never once saw any bruising, swelling, or any evidence of what could have been resulted from violence. On those days, I worked with Amber, retrieving packages for her, rode elevators with her, and saw her up close and in person. On none of those days immediately following the abuse claims did I observe any sign of physical abuse or injury, including any redness, swelling, cuts, bruising, or damage of any kind. Miss Heard then called me over to talk to her in the living room. Her face was pale and she did not appear to be wearing any makeup. I saw no bruises or marks on her face of any kind. On December 16, 2015, I spent much of the afternoon and early evening with Miss Heard, preparing her to appear on The James Corden Show. I saw her throughout the day of December 16, 2015 in good light, at close range, wearing no makeup. Throughout the day of December 16, 2015, I could see clearly that Miss Heard did not have any visible marks, bruises, cuts, or injuries to her face or any other part of her body. She appeared as a guest on The James Corden Show that day. Amber was makeup-free and unmarked throughout the Christmas visit to the island, as was usually makeup-free when on the island. I never saw her with any sign of injury on her face or body whatsoever.
I could see Amber's face very clearly. She did not have any marks on her face or arms. She didn't look in any physical distress. I was much more concerned about Johnny. He was obviously in emotional distress and panicking. He wasn't that drunk or out of it though, and was easily standing on his own and having a conversation. End quote. I was with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard very regularly throughout this period, and I never saw any cuts, bruises, or other injuries on Ms. Heard. Neither did Ms. Heard ever mention that she was the victim of any verbal or physical abuse.
I felt like I was misquoted, or that my words were taken out of context. I never meant to be in an article that called Johnny Depp a wife beater. I told you that I didn't know that to be true at all. I have heard several times that she in fact was abusive to him. I cannot wrap my head around these accusations. He was never violent towards me. He was never abusive at all towards me. He has never been violent or abusive towards anybody I've seen. I truly and honestly only know him as a really good man, an incredibly loving, extremely caring guy who was so very protective of me and the people that he loves, and I felt so very, very safe with him. I have known Johnny for more than 25 years. We've been partners for 14 years, and we raised our 2 children together. Through all these years, I've known Johnny to be kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. On movie sets, the actors, directors, and entire crews adore him because he is humble and respectful to everyone, as well as being one of the best actors we've seen. I'm aware of the allegations which Amber Heard has publicly accused Johnny of more than 4 years now. This is nothing like the true Johnny I have known, and from my personal experience of many years, I can say he was never violent or abusive to me. I've seen that these outrageous statements have been really distressing and also caused damage to his career because unfortunately people have gone on believing these false facts. This is so upsetting as he has helped so many persons in his personal and professional life with kindness and generosity.
I literally was standing 12 inches from her, inspecting her face, and I did not see a single mark or evidence of any marks, bruising, or swelling of any kind anywhere on her face.
Right. Johnny Depp and I are best friends. I have never seen him lift a finger for against anybody. You know, he is the most gentle, one of the most gentle people. And all of his former girlfriends and wives say the same thing.
The sad irony of her abuse hoaxes is that they mirror what she actually subjected me to during the course of our relationship. I took the years of verbal and physical abuse and only told the closest to me about it.